Going live. All right. Well, this is exciting. I don't usually go live on YouTube. I'm gonna bring this up. I want to make sure I can see, make sure everything looks good. So give me just a second. Bring that up. In the meantime, I'll tell you about myself. I am Linda Helgeson with Sweet Aria Decor. I have a wreath making and home decor business. So I make stuff that is for sale on sweetariadecor.com. That includes wreath kits, other supplies, finished items, centerpieces, bows, you name it, I'll make it for you. All right, here we go. I'm going on YouTube now. Getting in here. I tried to go on the TikTok live because it's back, but that's not working. So I am going to search for myself. See if I can see myself. Yes, that is my account. Watching the live. Okay, here we go. How can I watch my live? I want to see it. I want to watch it. There we go. All right, cool. Sorry about that. I know it took a minute for me to get everything up and ready. But maybe just do a little fun wreath today. So what I'm going to be making is a wreath that is a skinny profile wreath. So this is the wreath frame. We want this to be able to fit between a storm door, and you only have about that much space, less than 4 inches, between the glass storm door and the front door, typically. So this lets you have a really pretty wreath on your door. It's still nice, it's wide, but the bow is designed to lay flat. Everything's going to lay nice and flush, and nothing's going to look squished like it's up against the glass. So that's what we're going to do today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I make mine using 10-inch mesh. So this is a roll of 10-inch mesh. This particular roll came from Joann, but locally you can also go to like Hobby Lobby. Michael's Value Mesh I don't really recommend too much unless you're making a tomato cage tree. But I like to get mine online, usually at Craft Outlet or Decor Exchange. So what I'm going to do, because I already cut some of the ribbons, I'll show you that in a minute. But I want to cut my mesh first. If anybody's good at cutting one, it's me. But don't bump. All right, make myself some space here. So I use a rotary cutter, but you can just use a good old pair of scissors. All we want to do is take this roll. Now this is 10 yards, 30 feet. This will make me between 18 and 19 pieces cut at 18 inches a piece. I only need 12. So I'm only going to cut 12 because I don't want to have all those extra pieces just kind of rolling around. I'd rather have it left here on the roll. It's easier to manage that way, and then I can use it for another project. Okay. So let's take this. Now I will bring this forward here. This is Susie's Triple Stationary Mesh Roller. I do have an affiliate link to this in my bio, but I love this. I love something that holds the mesh for me. That way it doesn't go unrolling, flying off the table, right? So I'm going to just cut my mesh. Now I want to make sure that I start off with a nice clean edge, so I'll usually cut that piece. Again, I recommend a rotary cutter that has a protective blade. Otherwise you end up with a scar on your finger because you shouldn't hold the blade when you cut it. Yeah, I never claimed to be smart, okay? Never claimed to be smart. All right, here I go. I'm going to roll this back here. I'm going to cut just a nice, sharp line because it's jagged. It starts here and then it kind of goes in. We want to start this off nice and crisp. Kind of like wearing a fresh new pair of white tennis shoes on the first day of school. All right, cut 18. One now. I like to lay it flat, and you'll see why later. 1, 2, 3 at 18 inches long, 4, 5, 6. Some people also will cut it with a wood burning tool to keep it from fraying, but I don't like to do that because I'll just burn myself. It's a little more advanced. 7, 8, 9. 3 more pieces. Hang in there with me. 10, 11, and 12. Okay, I like to lay these flat because that's kind of how we're actually going to make our little flat ruffles. Okay, here we go. Just going to roll this up. I'm going to move this off camera because I don't need this anymore. It's going to give me some more elbow room here. Okay, all right, so I'm going to move this mesh to the side. Put our ribbons over here. Okay, now I'm going to show you the ribbons we're going to be using. I've already cut these ribbons, so I've cut these already. They were from another project. So these are cut at 14 inches. Now this is wired ribbon. You always want to use wired ribbon in your beads, otherwise they get floppy and it leaves like Wreath Viagra, okay? We don't want floppy tails. Not unless you're literally named like floppy tail and you're a bunny, okay? So that is 12 of these. I cut 12 of these at 14 inches long. Now I have one of this left over from another pattern or project. So I need to cut 11 more because I need 12. Now this is a ribbon tail board. I love how it's got the measurements on there for me. And all I have to do is wrap it around this and then make some easy cuts. So I said I usually need 12. This time I only need 11 because I already have one. My math is mathing. 11 plus 1 is 12. Yay me! Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Just put this right here. And pardon me, I have no makeup on. I wasn't planning to go live. This was kind of just like a spur of the moment thing. So look at the hands, not at the face. All right. And then I cut the other end. You see how it's got like a, you can see it's got a loop there, right? It shows you right where to cut it. So instead of having to measure out each individual tail, ribbon boards let you do it much more efficiently. We'll put that over to the side. We'll save that for the bow. All right. So now what I have is, technically I already cut one, but I've got 11 pieces. We're going to do what's called a dovetail. Okay. I will explain to you what a dovetail is. I'm going to show you just on one single one. So this is the wired edges. What we want to do is create something that looks pretty like that. See that V shape? That's called the dovetail. That keeps it from fraying. So we want to, my mesh goes over the side. We want to cut it like that. So I bend the wired edges against each other, and I cut angled from the inside going outward, okay? Boop. And I do the same thing on the other side. Now, I did this just on one. The more you do this, you can cut a stack at one time as long as you have really good sharp scissors, okay? If you don't, then you end up with kind of like a little frayed edge, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so let's cut a bunch of these, all right? So I'm going to make sure that they all line up on the side. They're all lined up good, stacked good. Okay, perfect. Bring it around. There we go. Cutting angled to the outside. All right. I'm going to cut angled to the outside. All right. Nice and flat. Now, fortunately, this is not directional ribbon, so it really doesn't matter how I lay it down on top of the other stack, right? Because it's not, there's no up and down pattern. It's just dots. Pretty little dots. They're not polka dots. They're just like large dots. There we go. All right. I like making these wreaths. I mean, this typically takes me about 40, 45 minutes if I'm talking, okay? I like to throw these away right away. There are little pieces of wire in here, so the quicker you can get them in a garbage can, the less likely you're going to step on it. All right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is make our wreath frame. So, whew, the hot flashes are starting. All right. We're going to make this wreath frame using, I get my wreath frames from Dollar Tree. I normally don't get wreath supplies from Dollar Tree, but these frames, because there's not much going on here, it doesn't have to hold a lot of weight, and they're super, super thin. I love these, okay? Sometimes they've been a little hard to find, so I've actually ordered them by the case, but that's just because I also sell wreath kits that use these. Okay, so I have here pipe cleaners. I would not use the Dollar Tree pipe cleaners. I have used those in the past and they snapped on me. So these I got from Hobby Lobby. Okay, so we can see on our wreath we have 4 rings, okay, and then we have 6 spines. So we're going to leverage it first. We're going to do the inside first. We're going to leverage these spines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this like right at the top of ring 2, wrap it under. Now I'm going on the other side of the spine, okay? You see that? Wrapping right back around ring 2. So this kind of looks like the Harry Potter scar, right? It's like a zigzag, okay? And I just pull it, oops, there we go. Pull it nice and tight, bring it around, and give it a twist. Normally, I do this when it's on the table, but I want you to be able to see it. So again, ring 2 on the left side, bringing it around, going back over that ring on the other side. So I've straddled that spine. I'm going to pull this nice and tight, bring them together, and give them a twist. We are not going to undo this twist when we go and add the mesh and the ribbons. We don't need to do that. I'm going to continue doing this all around the outside. There we go. I should have probably put on my little tiny microphone that clips, so I hope you guys can hear me okay. And you know what? I probably should zoom you in. When I did the Tiki-Taki lives, it zoomed in real close and I couldn't back up, but you guys seem a little far away, so let's bring you in. Let's bring you in. Here. Hopefully that is better. Okay. There we go. I can't have it facing me because if I did, when I showed you the text on here, it would be backwards. So, and I haven't figured out how to, I can flip it, but then I can't like mirror image it. I got to figure that out. I'm sure there's an option. I just haven't done it yet. All right. I love making these. These are a great wreath to make if you have an interior door and you want something really pretty in the inside, like on a bathroom door, you know, a hallway door, on the back of your front door, right? We often forget about the back of our front door. But this has a very skinny profile, so it's not going to stick out. You're not going to be knocking into it in the hallway. I've got wreaths pretty much on every door, but that's also because I have nowhere left to hang them. So I got a storage unit for all of my wreath supplies. I don't have, my basement is occupied with my stepdaughter and her boyfriend live down there, and there's another bedroom, and then there's a furnace room, and like there's a couple little cubbies for storage, but not like a full-blown basement full of storage like you would think. So most of it is in my garage. I have my wreath making supplies that I use personally, as well as the supplies that I sell are out there. And it got really cold, and like 2 weeks ago I was like, forget this. I am going to rent a storage unit for a bit and put this in there so I can get my car in the garage. I live outside of Chicago in this cold. Okay, so you see me going around. So what I've done, you see this? I'm going to do the last one. We're putting it between. We're not going on the spine anymore. On the outside, we're going between. I should have mentioned that earlier. I apologize. I got thrown by the camera. All right. Because it's going to be staggered on the outside, you want to go into your between spots, okay? So this is what it looks like. 6 on the inside on the spines, 6 on the outside. Now you can pull this a little bit tight to bend it a little bit, just to make sure that this doesn't go sliding around when you get everything on there. We don't want a little jiggle and wiggle in our wreath. Not there, okay? So now I have my wreath frame done. I've got my ribbons cut. I have ribbons set aside for a bow for later. This will eventually be our sign. Happy Easter. So super cute. Very delicate. I love that. Actually, I might end up using that as the ribbon. And then we have our mesh. Okay, so I'm going to move the ribbons to the side. Pipe cleaners. I only really need ones left for the bow. Okay, so I'm going to lay the mesh flat here on the side. I'm going to show you how to do this. So remember how this mesh was on a roll? And it kind of wants to follow that. It wants to follow that curve. Right? We want to lay it flat. Okay, so do not curl side up. We're going curl side down. Flattening it out. And then we're going to go right up the middle. Just scrape it, leave it flat. So this mesh has like a purple center stripe. So that's going to be a good marker for me maintaining centered in that. So I'm going to put that right on here. All right, I didn't undo the pipe cleaner. I just set it on top, and now I'm giving it a quick twist, okay? So it looks like this. It's not quite round. What we want to do is overlap. I overlap left to right so that it does make a nice, pretty circle, okay? This is called a pancake wreath. I learned this method from Coach Melissa with, she's with Decor Exchange, but she's also a sincerely creative mom. And she's where I learned how to do this from. She's amazing. Go follow her. So there's two ways you can go about this. There's the normal way where you put on all the mesh around the outside, and then you put on all the ribbon on the outside, and then you put on all the mesh on the inside, and all the ribbon on the inside. You can do that. However, I believe in doing what I call the lazy pancake. I'm going to put the ribbon on right now because I'm right here, okay? The only thing I might have to do is like adjust my ribbon a little bit to kind of be over the mesh when I'm done, but I've got to adjust it anyway because the ribbon tails move. All right, so I am stacking one on top of the other, okay? I don't know, is there a way to see comments on this? I can't tell. I have no idea if anybody's even watching. I hope you are. If not, that's okay. All right, so I've laid them on top of each other. Now I'm going to bend them in half and then press down. I want to be able to see the fold in the middle. That's where I'm going to just pinch it up, okay? And then I like to bend it a little bit into a V shape, okay? And you can see that's what it's going to look like. So one bunny's going to be going up, the other bunny's going to be going down because this is directional ribbon, okay? I'm going to untwist it now. Now you see it didn't pop out, I just untwisted, and because I kind of pinched it, the mesh learns that it wants to stay there, so I can open it up and it doesn't move. That's why I like mesh and ribbon, mesh and wired ribbon, because it gives me control. And I'm a bit of a control freak these days. There's so much in life we can't control. I like to control this. All right, so I trimmed off the pipe cleaner, and now I'm going to separate my little pancake here. I'm going to push it back, and then I'm going to bring these two back together again. Okay, so it looks like that. Now I'm going to separate my ribbon tails. I pull up on the top, down on the bottom. Up on the top, down on the bottom, okay? So this is what it looks like when you alternate the pattern like that, okay? You can also do something like that if you wish. I don't. I like the alternating, but again, whatever works for you. Okay, so let's do that again. We're going to do that whole process again. We're doing this on the outside ring, okay? Mesh, curl side down, nice and flat. Okay, gathering it up the middle, okay? Makes a bow tie shape. Looks like that farfalla pasta, right? A good bow tie. All right, I'm going to put that directly over that pipe cleaner, okay? Then I'm going to bring up the ends and then just give them one twist. I'm going to overlap left over right. I have my nice pretty circle shape now. I'm going to grab a ribbon, bottom and top, bend it in half. See my crease? Go up the crease, pinch, bend it into a V, open this up, put it in, retwist it. Now I'm going to twist this so I've got like about between 1 and 2 inches twisted, okay? Then I'm going to cut it where I've got like about an inch. So leave an inch and then I cut it. Then I separate these. I just push it right behind. I don't have to wrap it, I just kind of push it right behind. There we go. Now I separate out my ribbon tails. I want these to operate separately. There we go. All right. We're going to the third one. Now I'm going to go step by step through this. If you're watching this on a replay, you can go ahead and put that all on, or you can go ahead and just do all the mesh first and then come back and do all the ribbons on the bottom and then do the mesh on the top and then the ribbons on the top. And it's whatever works for you. You can fast forward, you can pause. If you don't want to hear me yammering, you can, hit mute. You wouldn't be the first. All right. There we go. Now, as you do this, you're going to notice that you might see a couple what I call the stray chin hairs of mesh popping out. You see the little hairs? That's just the nature of mesh. That's what it does, but because this is freshly cut, so I'm just going to trim that, all right? Much like I pluck my chin hairs late at night with the mirror right before I go to bed in my nightstand. Yeah. I love being old. It's great. All right, I'm bending these in half now. Getting my center spot. Here we go. I make a lot of these for the boutique spaces that I'm in. I've got 2 spots. I am in a painted tree in Naperville, Illinois, and I'm also in a spot called the Nest and Company in Orland Park, Illinois. So I've got both of those spots. I'm not sure if I'm staying at Painted Tree or not. I'm kind of mulling it over right now. I think I probably will stay. But I'm going to pivot a little bit and try to bring in some more arrangements. I've been looking at what's really selling. So see how the mesh is on top of the ribbon. All I have to do is just make sure that the ribbon just goes on top of there. There. That's the only difference I've seen with doing what I call the lazy pancake. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is number 4. Scraping it up the middle. Putting it and twisting, twist tie, overlapping my ends. Realizing that I'm hungry and I want lunch. Here we go. Probably getting McDonald's because I have to go pick up some prescriptions at Walgreens. And wouldn't you know it, it's right next door to McDonald's. Oh, darn. Well, when in Rome, or when at Walgreens, here we go. It is, I think it's gotten up to maybe 8 degrees here today. So I'm making Easter springy stuff, but it's cold. It's cold. Yeah. When I woke up, the wind chill was -12. So that's why I like kind of making some stuff that's a bit more springy, a little less depressing than what I'm seeing outside with the weather. But it's not, there's no snow on the ground. I think it's just kind of like, it's just, the ground's just frozen. That's all right. Spring is going to be here soon enough. And that's why I like to always have something fun and springy on the front door. It looks colorful and cheerful in an otherwise possibly dingy looking world. There we go. Twisting. There we go. And I too will bend some of these pipe cleaners that are on the inside ring. I'll kind of bend them up so that they're going to be easier for me to find when I go to put on that mesh. These are so cute. I did see, they had some cute signs, I think, at Hobby Lobby. I was looking there, but I like to get some signs too. A Craft Outlet, Polka Dot Wreath Co. Tammy's got really cute signs too. I actually haven't ordered from there in a while. I need to make an order. I need to place an order. Here we go. Trim. Boom, boom. But I do have wreath kits at sweetariadecor.com. So not for this particular one, but if you go look, I've got a really cute one with a black and white pickup truck that's got a load of carrots in the back and a little bunny butt. It's really, really cute. That's a kit. I actually bought all the, like a case of 16 of the signs. I usually get stuff at Craig Bachman, and that's a warehouse. It's an importer, and then they have a warehouse sale twice a year. Where normally, if you buy from them, you have to buy by the case, and you have to have an account and all this stuff. They have a sale to the general public twice a year. The next one is coming up in March, and that's where I would sometimes find, like, I could find like maybe 4 or 5 of the same sign and coordinating ribbons. So I would. I started making very inexpensive wreath kits. You know, I got stuff at a discount, so I passed the discount on. So I'm able to sell it for less. And my shipping on the wreath kit's only $5.99. It costs me more to ship it, but that's just what I charge. But it comes with everything you need. Like, you get the frame, you get the mesh, you get the ribbons, you get the sign, and you get the chenille stems. Everything you need to make your wreath. I even put in cable tie mounts to attach your sign pipe cleaner so that you can put it on your wreath. A lot of signs, like not the metal ones, but the wood ones, they come with a little rope. I used to hang it by the rope, but then as the door would close, my wreath would, the sign would like swing back and forth. Kind of like, you know, when you go to the amusement park and you see like that canoe ride that just goes back and forth. That's kind of what it looked like. So, and I started using cable tie mounts. I actually prefer to staple my sign, the pipe cleaners to the back of the sign. I just have to add some cardboard squares, so the staples don't go through the front. Okay, so right now we have completed the outside. This is what the outside of the wreath looks like. Okay, it's going to be 22 inches wide, and this is currently how skinny it is. Now, if you had a really huge sign, you probably could just, you know, put that in the middle, but that would kind of look weird. That's why we do another layer on the inside. Okay, it's going to fill it up, and it's not really going to add very much to the thickness of it, but it's going to fill it out nicely. All right, so I'm just going to do the same exact thing I did on the outside. I'm just going to do it on the inside. Not bad. All right, here we go. Overlapping. This is only the second time I've ever gone live on YouTube. I've been neglecting YouTube, and I'm sorry. I apologize. I had been over on the clock app. You know which one I'm talking about. So I decided, you know what? I need to come over and give YouTube some love, right? I do have a whole bunch of tutorials. I've got a ton of videos out there. They're full-length videos, most of them. I've got some shorts, but you can see my playlists. I've got it broken out by tutorial and also by holiday. There's something specific you're looking for. Like I just posted one that's got, I don't think I posted it yet, but I made a wreath with a bunny butt. It's so cute. It's got the butt and the ears and the little bunny feet and the little white tail. So that video will be coming out shortly, but videos on, and not just wreaths, there's centerpieces, and most of my wreaths too, they all have bows, so you get to see how I make the bow for that. My channel is not monetized yet. I need to get more viewers and more hours up there, so I am quite a ways away from getting monetized on that, but I am trying to grow my viewership. So if you could do me a favor, if you're watching this, if you could give me a like and a subscribe, I would really, really appreciate that. That will help me continue to have faith in posting videos that hopefully people actually like it and find it useful. Crafting to me is the best therapy. Like I said before, it gives you a feeling of control when your life is chaotic and you have control over absolutely nothing, right? But it's like I can pick what this is going to look like. Stuff is going to go where I want it to go. It's unlike my children, is going to listen to me. And sometimes it lets you just get out of your head and escape what's stressing you out at the moment, so that you can get stressed out by stuff like fraying mesh. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. If you haven't made a wreath before and you're kind of on the fence about it, please give it a shot. I think you'll love it. Now, the first couple times, it might be a bit more difficult, but the more you do it, it's so fun. You can give them as gifts. You can make them as your own decor. You can do like little craft shows. That's how I started. Is I made so much stuff that I had to sell it. So I started doing craft shows, and then I started making tomato cage trees. I actually have a video on Etsy that shows how to make tomato cage trees. I don't have a free one, but I've got a video, very in-depth video, and also there's also a PDF document. It is a Word document that goes step by step, zooming in with pictures, because I used to be a technical writer and a business analyst. So I know how to do documentation and user guides. So it's nice and helpful. Tomato cage trees, they're so fun. They've all got little personalities. And they don't have to be just for Christmas. I have made Easter trees. I made Valentine's trees. On my site, sweetariadecor.com, right now, I have a St. Patrick's Day tree that's got a cute little hat. It's so fun. They can go in an entryway. They can go up by a fireplace. They're really fun to make. Now, my method is a little different than other people. Some people use 10-inch mesh. I only use one roll of 10-inch and put in like little accent ruffles, but most of my stuff is made with the 21-inch mesh. So if you're looking for, what do I do with my 21-inch mesh rolls now? You know, if you bought a bunch and you haven't used them, those are a great project to do. That's why I like my method. It does use significantly less mesh, which means it's less expensive. So yes, you have to pay for a tutorial, but the money that you save, like literally, it's worth it. And then you've got that knowledge. The method is proprietary, so I ask that you do not share it. Here we go. All right. This is going good. I'm going to go back just as I go through it. Like I said, I'm just going to take my ribbon tails and make sure that they're on top of the mesh. Just got three more to do. 3 more to do. And then we get to put on the sign. And then once I get the sign on, then I kind of get a feeling for, what do I want to do with the bow? I can put one bow if I want. I can put multiple little bows. I mean, it all depends how and where I want to place my sign. So we're going to play around with that and see what we want to do. Now, I don't have much of the bunny ribbon left, but I do have a lot of the pink and white dot ribbon. So that's probably going to be the main ribbon. But it really, because this is a smaller sign, it's probably going to go like down here, and then I'll put like some bows there. That's typically what I do when I have an 8-inch metal sign. All right, now I'm going to undo that real quick so I can put some ribbons in there. Ooh, it may be cold out, but that sun is hitting me. Ooh, there we go. Bending this again. There we go. I've made so many pancake wreaths the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy because I have a craft show coming up in March 9th and 10th, right before my birthday. I'm in a craft show, one of the largest in the area. I have never done this show. I've always wanted to get into it. It's Carl Sandburg, I think it's in Tinley Park. I've never done it before, and I finally said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the spring show, because the winter show is actually the same weekend as another one of my shows called Christmas Crossroads, and I'm loyal to my Crossroads, right? They've treated me well, and I always do well, so I will continue with that one. But sometimes it's nice to mix it up, try something new, and kind of see what it's like. I've heard it's massive. It's a huge show. So I'm trying to make sure I've got enough product made for my 2 boutique spaces, my Etsy shop, and selling at the craft show. So I will take stuff to the craft show that I have on Etsy, and as soon as I sell it, I will take down the listing on Etsy. So that way I do have it kind of like cross-posted, I guess you could call it. But I typically, if I take something to the nest, something at the nest is not listed on Etsy because it's farther from me. I don't want to have to go run over there real quick because it's like a 40-minute drive. So there is no real quick popping over there. But here we go. Now sometimes you'll notice that one of your tails might be a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. It's not like you're lining them up next to each other, but you might need to, if you notice like the length is really off, there's a big discrepancy, then you can probably, you know, make a little trim, give a little haircut. Okay, pushing that back, separating out the tails. Okay. Okay, here comes the last one, guys. Here comes the last one. That went pretty quick, right? It's not too bad. I'm probably going to do an in-person class, one at Paint a Tree and one at the Nest, using some of these kits that I've come up with. Because the thin method is something nice and fun and easy, and it's kind of like a low-stress type of class for me and for the people making the wreath. And then you can always get, you know, this is a basic wreath. You can put in florals, you can add in little picks. You know, hot glue works wonders. You just have to make sure you use good glue, like I use Gorilla Glue, to make sure that that stays in place, because when something is between the glass with the storm door, even if it's winter, it can get very hot in that space, and then your glue can start to melt and things can start to fall off. So I typically will not glue on a pancake wreath unless it's something very small. I like to wire on then as much as I can. Okay, opening this up, putting on the last tail, twisting it, Okay. Snip. Ooh, there we go. All right, bending it back. Separating the tails. Okay. All right. Now for the sign. If you can see, there's already holes punched at the top and the bottom. I do have a price tag on the back of this one because I got it at the warehouse sale. So I'm going to take the price tag off because I don't want to mini pearl this, right? You guys remember who Mini Pearl is? Hee-haw. She always left the tags hanging on her hats. Yeah. Younger people today aren't going to know who that is. I think Hee-haw used to be on right before the Donnie and Marie show back in the 70s. If memory serves. All right, now see how the white is really visible there. So I'm going to see if I happen to have two pink ones. I do. I have just a little bit of pink. But it's not a good pink. It's not a good pink. Now I'm going to go back to the white. Do you see how it's like really bright pink? Well, I guess maybe that's not. I don't know. Okay, I guess I'll use it. But I might cover it up with something when I'm done, okay? This might be one of those things where I go get a little bit of floral and try to put some little bit of stuff on there, right? Ooh, I'm looking at something right now I might be able to put on there. Just a little tiny floral bloom. Okay, so we're going to leverage the spots that already have pipe cleaners. We're just going to put the sign over one of those for now. I'm going to do that on this one. Now, I might not be able to reach that on the top, but at least for one of them, it's going to straddle this. If you had a 10-inch sign, it would probably work better, but this is just a smaller 8-inch sign. You can use these signs to, you can attach them to grapevines. They work pretty nice on those too. Okay. So I'm just twisting the pipe cleaner on itself. I'll flip it over when I've got the top on, and then I'll show you what that looks like. And these ribbon tails, they naturally want to kind of go back to their original shape. So they do need a bit of reminding as to where to stay. All right. So fortunately, this lines up pretty well with this spot right here. So I'm going to be able to just leverage and go put this pipe cleaner right over the other pipe cleaner. Push, push, push. I like to make sure that I come out over the top of the second ring. So I'm under ring 1 and I'm over ring 2. So I'm straddling 2 rings with this, all right? I'm going to flip it. I'm twisting. Now I'm going to twist these a little bit longer. I will cut it flush, just a little bit off. All right. And then I'll bend it. I just bend it around the frame. Okay. Bend, bend. There we go. Bend, and bend. All right. Now this is a good time to clean up the stray hairs that are on the back. You can take a look, see where you've got some strays, what needs a haircut. Okay, looks pretty good. All right. So this is it for now. You see how that pink is pretty obvious. So I'm going to want to find something to put on there. I don't know what yet. I'm kind of looking past you guys, looking at what I've got over on my thing of goodies. I have some eggs, so I'll probably end up putting some eggs on there. Okay. All right. So what I want to do now is bow. So I could make one larger bow, put it here, and then have the tails come down, kind of cover it, which I think is what I want to do. All right. So I'm going to bring my bow maker over. If you know how to make and you can do it by hand, that's fantastic. I cannot because I've got some carpal tunnel issues. So I need to use a bow maker. My grabbies don't work so good, right? So should I figure out? I think I'm going to use this one because it's got this sign. It's got pink, but it's also got purple and green. And we see we've got purple, and then we've got some of the green, right? So this kind of plays up those colors. So it adds a little bit, little fun pop. But you know what? I'm noticing that pink is awfully dark. I'm not liking that pink. In fact, I'm going to rather use this one, I think. Yeah, I prefer this, okay? So let's take a look at, this is the one that I don't have a lot of, okay? So let's see how much I've got. All right. I have just over 4 feet. So I think I will be okay. This is directional ribbon. So I'm going to have to pay attention to which way my bunnies are facing, which means I'm going to have to do this in 2 strips, okay? So I'm going to cut this what I have in half, so I know this is the max length I have to work with on one side, all right? And I'm going to start with this. This is my base. Because this was the bottom ribbon underneath the bunny, I'm going to also make it the bottom ribbon underneath my bow. I like to start with the dovetail, and you can always adjust your dovetail later, okay? Put this down. Okay, so if I'm going to put that there, I kind of want the tail hitting there, so this is a 10-inch tail, okay? Then I pinch and twist, so I've got the pretty side. Let me get a little bit more. The pretty side is over on the right, and then the left side, it's backwards. I'm looking at the back of the ribbon, okay? Normally I would loop this in front of me. I'm looping it behind me because I don't want to block your view, okay? So I'm going to push this through, and I want to have this be 5.5 inches on that side, okay? I'm not squishing it, I'm just kind of like bending. Where's the natural look? Okay, it's 5.5. Because I don't want it to go covering any of the wording where it says Happy Easter, so I don't want it to be super wide, okay? So then I pinch and twist on the right side, so now I'm looking at the back of the right side. All right, so let's put that through. 5.5. Looks good. Now I'm going to pinch and twist. I want to make another set of loops again, okay? Pinch and twist, making another loop on the left, and another loop on the right. Okay. And then I kind of pull it down. Now I'm going to cut past the end of this other tail, okay? Because I need room to dovetail it, so I'm going to cut past it. And that gives me about 1/4 inch to be able to trim off. Pretty good. Pretty close. All right, so I'm going to have one loop up, one loop down, and then this side I'm going to do the opposite. The bottom will come up, and the top one will go down, okay? And we'll show you what this looks like. That is our bottom layer of the bow, okay? And it's pretty flat, right? You could zhuzh it up, you know, you could put your finger in there and like bend the loops and make them more loopy, but we don't want that because we want this thing to be skinny. Okay, so here's my directional ribbon, okay? I'm going to start, I've got 2 pieces of this, okay? I'm going to start by dovetailing it. I'm going to put this in here, and I want to go 1 inch above the end of that other tail. So I'm going to pinch, okay? So I've got pretty side here, icky side here. I'm going to bring this tail over. We're going to do this at, this is 4 inches, okay? I wish it were longer, but I don't have more, so I'm going to dovetail this end as close to the end as I possibly can, okay? Now we've got, this is half our bow, okay? This is just half. I want to pull it up a little bit longer. Here we go. This might end up being a shorter. I might end up trimming the bottom tails of these, okay? But here's what it looks like right now. That's just half of that layer, okay? You see the bunny's not upside down. He's kind of just out to the sideways there, but that's okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing from the opposite direction. I'm going to start with a little dovetail. Well, heck, I can probably dovetail the end of this side too, because I'm literally maxing out what I have left of this ribbon. I don't have a square to spare, right? Okay. So I'm going to put this in here, measure out so that my 2 tails look the same length. All right, push it down, make sure that looks good. Okay. Then I'm going to pinch and twist. So I'm looking at the back on the right hand side. pulling it over. And this loop was actually 4.5 inches. And that's what this is, 4.5 inches. Exactly. Okay, perfect. So that's what this looks like, okay? But now I don't want to see the pipe cleaner in the middle of this. So I could get something teeny tiny and put it in the middle of the bow, which is possible. I could do that. But I think I kind of just want to put this on here and just make a small little loop. So this is 1.5 inch wired ribbon. It's got a nice coordinating pattern, right? It's got the light pink and Swiss dots. I'm going to dovetail my end. Boom. All right. This isn't going to be a lot. I'm just going to put this on here. This is like an 8-inch tail, okay? I pinch and twist, so back side on the left. Bring it over. This loop is 3.5 inches. I pinch and twist, back side over here, bring it over. Oops. I burped. I'm sorry. I hope you didn't hear that. Well, now I just told everybody I did that. Well, isn't that just lovely? All right. Now I'm going to pinch and twist again. I'm not making a whole loop this time, though, okay? I'm only going to make 2-finger loops. I'm putting my 2 fingers in here. We're going to make a center loop, okay? It's just 2 fingers wide. All right. Here we go. Just that. Nice and perfect. Then I'm going to bring this tail down. Like I did before, kind of measure it out. Now, yes, the tails are both coming down the same side. Once we get everything attached, we're going to fix that, and you'll never know. You'll never know. All right. Here's something I started doing in the last couple of years. It makes life easier. I put pins in these just because I don't want it to keep unraveling. So some of the spools I hang up, and then they were unraveling. It drove me nuts. So I'm OCD, and I have to do certain things at a certain time. So I apologize. You don't have to do this. I do. Okay. I'm going to go back and get one of my white pipe cleaners that we started with. Remember those guys? You call it a chenille stem. Isn't that fancy? I grew up in the 70s. It's a pipe cleaner. Okay. I'm going to grab a hold of my bow. I'm pushing down as I'm pulling up, making sure all of my layers stay together. This is like a giant BLT sandwich. I don't want to lose any of my layers. Keep my bacon and lettuce and tomato in there, okay? Squish it against my chest because what else is it good for? And then I'm going to twist this probably twice just to make sure it's really good. The tighter you twist it, the more your loops will pop, okay? But it also doesn't have to like pop a whole heck of a lot because, you know, we're trying to make this not a real fluffy bow. So I'm going to pull this down, okay? I'm going to adjust. Every loop and every tail should have nice viewpoint and access, right? Everyone gets its time to shine, okay? I really want this kind of like between the bunnies, okay? Now I'm going to take my finger, we're going to go down the wires, working the wires, they call it, right? That's kind of what makes it, see how it starts to kind of like, gives you that like rounded feeling to it? See? There we go. See? Nice and curly. Okay. Bring this over. So now, placement. If I put this right over that position, it's going to cover the sign. If I put it over here, it's like equal with the sign. I don't want that. I'm going to put it kind of between. So I am going to poke the mesh, right? Which, you know, goes against what I usually say, not to poke it through the mesh, but I'm gonna, because I need it to go kind of through. So I'm putting it on the outside of ring 1 and then on the other side of ring 2, just like how we did it when we were putting the pipe cleaners on here, okay? Lay down, pretty bow. There. My main goal was trying to make sure that I cover the pipe cleaner, but I'm going to trim that bottom layer because I think that's a little much. Okay. So I'm pinching and twisting just like I did before. Okay, pinch and twist. Here we go. Get my good twist on there. And that turned out even, so I'm not even going to cut it. I'm just going to wrap it around. See, there's nothing on the back that's going to be scratching the door. Trim a couple little hairs here. Okay. I'm going to fix my bow. And remember, I still don't like those over there, so I got to put something up there so I don't see that. Okay. Now I'm going to bring that bottom tail over. All right, I'm going to pull it over. And when I do that, you can't even tell which side it came from now. It looks like that's just where it's supposed to be. I do want to take a little bit of length off of that. So give me just a second. Oop. A little bit. Okay. All right, this is where we're at so far. But so let me think. I could do florals or I can do little eggs. I have some of this, but again, that's too pink. I don't want anything super pinky. In fact, I kind of really just want something white. Give me a minute. I'm coming back. All right. So I originally thought white, but those are very large, and when the door closes, that's going to be a little too big. So what I do have is I got a little bit of this, right? But that also kind of looks weird. So just trying to think what I could put here. I got it. I'm going to put a little loop there and there. Okay. I'm just going to do it with like a, here we go. Just cutting one pipe cleaner in half. I just want a sweet little loop. I want it to blend. I don't want it to stand out, but I still want to cover that because if I had a lighter pink, I still think white would have looked weird because it would have popped over the sign, okay? But I'm going to take this, okay? And I've got a loop, twist, loop. I got to get the bow maker. I can't. My hand hurts. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. Okay, here we go. Okay, a little bit of a tail, so that's about, it's about a 5-inch tail. And then I twisted and pinched, and now I'm gonna have just the smallest little loop. It's like 1.5 inches, okay? Just an 1.5 inch little loop. And I'm gonna cut that little past here, and again, I can trim this if I want to. When it gets on there if it's too much, all right? Boom. I'm just gonna keep that little loop. Just gonna twist this right around it. Boop. Simple twist. All right. All right, so I can put that. Look at that. That's all it is. That's all it is. All right. I'm putting that right over the hole. You know what? I probably should have made this a whole piece instead of a half. I should have left it as a whole piece. That's all right, though. I just got to get this other side through. The hard part when you're working with the mesh on the top layer is just trying to get that through. All right. Make sure I'm straddling at least one of the rings. And then just give a little pinchy, pinchy, twisty. All right. Snip, snip, snip. It almost looks like a little rabbit, honestly. I think it's really cute. It's kind of flattened. There we go. And I'm making sure that we can't see the pipe cleaner. Okay? So I'm kind of flattening it out a little bit. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing again. Like, this is not ideal. I'm not in love with it, and I might end up changing it up, but for right now, this is all I have to cover it up. Because if I put a glitter egg, all my glitter eggs are very multicolored, and I think that's not helping it blend. That would detract from the sign. So I'm just gonna make another one of these on the other side. Snip, 5-inch, twist, 1.5-inch loop. All right, I cut this off just below, or just past 5. Dovetail. She almost done. And just give it a twist. All right. All right, now we're going to put this right through that hole that's already in the sign. It's going to come right down. Bring it right through. If I had some florals, I probably would have preferred to go with a floral, but I don't have a floral that's a low profile enough where it's not going to look weird. You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay, I can play with that more once I get this attached. I don't have a lot of, it's not a lot to work with back here. I should have left it as a whole piece. I was trying to like conserve, and I ended up screwing myself over. Oh, do as I say, not as I do. All right, now we've got that bow. It's kind of in there. Kind of looks like a little bunny coming from the other way. All right, so let's take a look at our finished wreath. Okay. Especially on the inside ring, I'm really going to go around and make sure that all the spots are all even, that nothing looks like it's kind of like shifted over. The last thing you want is a case of the shifts, right? But then don't neglect your bottom layer too, all right? Because when you go to hang it up, then that's when you really notice kind of like your bottom layer is really kind of showing you what the outside is looking like. And we don't want to neglect that either, because then you'll see like a spot where it looks like it's just all mesh, and that's because your ribbon tail's kind of shifted. The ribbons are there. They just want to be seen. All right. One last adjustment. Hang in there with me, please. And then this is a good time too, if you see any little stray hairs, pluck those chin hairs. Pluck those chin hairs, you wreath makers. You can do it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here is our finished wreath. It is 22 inches wide. Let's double check. 10 to 32. 22. All right. And then here is the profile. This is how thick it is. All right. We are looking at, again, yeah, less than 4 inches. Okay. Now, I like to add a zip tie to hang it from on the back of my wreath. So I will usually kind of just go, actually I like to, if it's in the center, I like to pop it kind of through here, because that'll keep it from sliding. Otherwise your zip tie is going to go sliding that way or that way. This way it kind of anchors it and make sure it is centered. All right. I also use a hook to hang these on for storage, so that's why I like to use that. So here we go. Okay, so I probably will list this at sweetariadecor.com. That takes you to my Etsy site. And I do have free shipping on all of my design decor items. Anything that is supply or wreath kit, that I do charge shipping on that. But it's not very much. And believe me, I end up paying for a lot of the shipping myself. But that's okay. That's part of doing business. All right? I've got lots of other videos, so if you like this video today, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you do make a wreath, send me a picture, because I would love to see it. In fact, you know what? Shoot it to me over on the book of faces. Wink, wink. You know what I'm talking about, right? All right. Thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Happy crafting. And now I awkwardly walk over behind the camera and shut this off.